Right, everyone. So this is the FBA roadmap. Okay. So you may look at this screen right now and you may be able to easily tell where you are. So the first thing is we've got to define where you are and where you want to be, and ultimately where you can be, because there may be you may think there's a limit on the potential, but there is no limit to where you can actually take this. Okay. So, first things first, it starts right at the beginning doing arbitrage. This is a mixture between online arbitrage and retail arbitrage. So, this is basically going into stores and buying from stores and reselling up on them online. So, you're buying like clearance items and all these, that types of things. Now, I've got an earning potential at the bottom here, an earning potential. So, I've put 1k profit per month. Okay, now some of you may not agree with that. I do actually know people making a little bit more than one k per month doing arbitrage, right? However, in my opinion, you can't really build a sustainable business doing arbitrage. Like, how many stores can you go into in a single day physically before they close? Before you get exhausted? Before your car fills up? Like, what? How many stores are you going to go to? Okay, so buying from these stores is just not feasible and it's not a long-term business. And it's even the same with online arbitrage. Yes, you can probably visit more online stores, right? But you got to think, who else can do that? Who else can do that? Everybody in the world can do that. Okay. So there's no barrier to entry there. So for the typical person, like the max you're going to really make is about £1,000 a month in profit. Like that's a maximum. And even so, if you're making £1,000, or maybe if you get to 1,500, like let's put it that way, and you're doing arbitrage, it's going to be a very time intensive business. I don't actually call it a business. It's going to be time intensive side hustle. It's going to be like a full time job just to make £1,000 per month. Okay, which you don't need. You don't need to be doing that. Okay, now I get it. This arbitrage is, you can make a little bit of money. It may be good extra from your job, and it's great for people to start off with. Okay, and more specifically, if you've only got like £500 sat in your bank or £1,000 sat in your bank, it may be good to just start off with arbitrage, just to build that up. Maybe build that up to two, three, maybe even 4 grand, something along them lines. Okay, so that is where if you're doing arbitrage right now you're right at the bottom of this chain, but you want to be working your way up this chain, okay? So if you're doing arbitrage, I'd recommend you to get onto this next one here. And this next one is wholesale. Now, wholesale is what I started out with. Wholesale is fantastic, and wholesale is you buying from wholesalers, distributors, and brands and reselling their products online. So you're going to be buying them in bulk from directly from the manufacturer or directly from one of their distributors and selling them on Amazon. Okay. Now I'll put when to start up here as well. And I think everybody should start with wholesale now if you haven't already. Okay. If you haven't started with wholesale already, your time is now and you need to start. There's courses within this school community, there's courses within this community and this program. Take advantage of them. Learn a bit about wholesale. Even if you're doing wholesale, we're going to get onto these next ones in just a moment. You're going to benefit from that as well. Okay. So wholesale, the earning potential here, I put £1,000 to £20,000 profit per month. Now, I did put a cap on that, about 20k. Yes, you can do more, but if you're doing solely wholesale and wholesale alone, nothing else, okay, I think 20k per month is probably a very fair limit to put on, if you, especially if you're not doing bundles or exclusive brand deals coupled with that. Like, you're going to hit a limit about maybe 15k to be fair, but I put 1 to 20k is a good range. That's your earning potential. And is that good? Yeah, of course it's great. It's fantastic. That can be life-changing money and it can get you out of your 9 to 5 job. It can, maybe increase your income by like 2, 3, 4 times what it currently is right now. It can give you the freedom. It can give you the money to go where you want in the world and go and travel. Okay. So wholesale's where you want to be at. And yeah, like I said, we've got a whole load of videos about this in our both in our academy and also in the free community as well. A little bit about wholesale and how to, obviously get started and find products. Okay, so if you wherever you're at the moment, I'd probably say if you have at least £2,000 in the bank, you should be starting with wholesale. At least £2,000 in the bank, and that will be most people. Okay, it'll be most people. Perhaps you only have like £1,000, for example, or you have a job and you have money coming in. You will be still fall under that bracket in a couple of months' time, simply just from saving up some cash, okay, or selling things around the house. Okay, so pretty much everyone, 90% of people, wholesale is where you should start, and you should start now, okay, because it's replenishable and much more sustainable than arbitrage. So, wholesale's fantastic, like I've already mentioned. It can take you to that 10, 15, 20k per month mark. But if you want to take things further, which I think you should, okay, I really do think you should go on to things like bundles and exclusivity, okay? Because this is the time, these are the strategies which are going to take you past 10, 20k per month mark. Hands down, okay? Hands down. So you've got wholesale here, right? Wholesale is fantastic. You can buy from these wholesalers. Awesome. Not everybody has access to this, but some people with a bit of sophistication and a bit of cash behind them can get access to all of these products as well. However, but if you move on to coupling this wholesale with bundles, which is basically bundling, for example, this glass with something else, bundling something unique with this product, then you're able to claim that listing for yourself. It could be your own sort of branded listing, and you have protection. You have protection on that listing, and nobody else comes and sells it. Because if you go back to wholesale and arbitrage, you're going to be selling with other people when doing these strategies, and with bundles and exclusivity, generally speaking, you're not going to be. You're going to be, determining the price of your product, not being in constant price wars, which not only takes you above that 20k per month mark, it has much more potential to, but it actually makes your life even easier getting, above that mark. Okay, so fantastic. And when should you start this? Okay, when should you start this? Now you can start it straight away. Don't get me wrong, you can start it straight away. But ideally, you should be making at least about £1,000 a month with wholesale, in profits. And I say that because I want you to have some level of knowledge and, skin in the game with Amazon. Because more specifically as well with exclusive brand deals, going ahead and working with a company directly, and you improving their listed images, improving their whole presence on Amazon, increasing their sales, which we teach you how to do all inside of our academy. We teach you how to do all of that. You do need to have some sort of skin in the game, some sort of experience to begin with, to even have the confidence to say that you're going to do that for a brand. Okay, so making at least £1,000 a month with wholesale, you can start implementing these strategies like unique bundles and exclusive brand deals, and ultimately this is going to take you to the next level. Okay, now the holy grail, okay, so you're going to spend a while building a business. This roadmap here will take you years. This whole timeline can be a 30-year timeline if you wanted it to be, or it could be a 10-year timeline. It really depends on everyone's scenario, but this could be a lifetime timeline. You could start here at 20 years old doing arbitrage, go into wholesale at 23 years old, and then get into the bundle side of things. By 30 years old, you start your first brand, and then we'll get on to the next thing soon. Okay, so next, private label. Now, this private label, I mean, it's uncapped the amount you can make with private label. You can make as much as you want. Like, there's no ceiling, no limit at all on it. So I've just put 30k per month because it's more than bundles and exclusivity. And bundles and exclusivity is kind of like a medium between wholesale and private label. Because essentially you're getting your own brand, okay? You're exclusive on the listing. You don't have to worry about anything like the competition and things like that. but you're getting the ease of wholesale. So, as more specifically with exclusivity, you're working with a brand which is already established. They've already established themselves in the market and got hundreds, if not thousands, of reviews. Okay, so going on to private label, this is your own brand, and it can be quite costly. It can be cost quite a lot to launch a brand. I know we've launched quite a few brands now, quite a few different products as well. Some of them, especially if you start importing from China, it can cost a lot of money, guys. So I've put here you want to be making at least £5,000 a month in net profit in combination with wholesale and bundles before you even think about private label. Ideally, even more, to be honest with you. But this is after 2, 3, 4, 5 years of doing this stuff. When you're making sufficient amounts of funds, why not start the private label brand? Because ultimately, it's going to be a lot better margin for you. For example, wholesale, you may be looking anywhere between 10 and 20% margin. Bundles, maybe a little bit more, about 25%. Private label, you can get things over 30% margin reasonably easily. Okay, you want to be rewarding yourself when doing private label, building your own brand, because ultimately it's a lot more risky, and you're putting a lot more work in, a lot more money in. Okay, so this can honestly give you unmatched potential and make you a multimillionaire basically. There's so many opportunities, so many avenues that you can go down, and I've put it here. It is not just that, okay? After PL, there's more. Okay, you start a private label brand, you can start your own website for that. You can get that into supermarkets, or you can sell. You can sell the brand. Perhaps you built a brand which is built making you £10,000 per month in net profit every single month, and it's been doing that for the past year. For example, you'll be able to sell that for, I don't know, like £300,000. Okay, straight off the bat, a lump sum amount of money. You can keep doing that and keep repeating that over and over and over again until you've got a pot of cash in the bank, which is worth millions, tens of millions of pounds. And that's what I plan to do, and that's what I'm going to do over the next 5 to 10 years. And hopefully by the time I'm 30, 40 years old, things will have paid off massively. And, we're going to be in a very, very successful position. So, yeah, this is the roadmap to FBA. Where are you now? Let me know. Let me know in the comments, or maybe even below this video if you can comment below. Where are you at right now? And where do you want to be? Because some people, you don't have to go all the way to the private label. You can just build a wholesale business if you want to do in a wholesale business alone. But this is the typical roadmap and what everybody should really follow, in my opinion. You should, maybe start off with arbitrage, but even if you're just starting out, dive into wholesale, start learning about it, making money with it, go on to bundles and exclusivity, and then go into into the last thing, which is private label. Start building your brands up, and then start selling them potentially as well. Or if you're very passionate about the brand, very passionate about the product, and you want to continue building that, you can keep building it and building it and building it. You can take this globally. You can take it to the United States. You can take it to Europe. You can take it to Australia, Asia, all of these places, and do all of these things. Okay, there's a big world out there, a massive economy. Even just in the UK, the UK can make you tens of millions of pounds, okay? Just in the UK alone, okay? I mean, maybe that's not your goal, but it can. You can become a very, very wealthy man or woman from even just starting out here doing arbitrage. It is just a start, okay? As long as you are making that start and you are making your way through this, you're going to be successful either way. Okay, so whether you want to just make a £1,000 or £2,000 a month doing a little bit of wholesale on the side of your job, or whether you want to have a couple of bundles which just perhaps do 5 grand a month and still work in your job, because that's entirely possible as well, and have a fantastic income of like 10, 15 grand a month while still working and be able to go on holidays and things like that. That's up to you. Whether you want to build a full-on business like my business. So let me just talk a bit about my business. I've got a mixture of wholesale products, bundles. I've got a little bit. I do a little bit on exclusivity, and also I have quite a few private label brands as well. So I'm very diverse, and that's what you should be as well. You should be very diverse. Okay, so you'll start out with wholesale. You won't just completely get rid of all the wholesale products straight away. You'll go on to bundles and exclusivity and still have some wholesale products. You'll start your private label and maybe you still have these two as well. Or maybe you go deep into it, okay? So whether, like I said, you want to do this on the side of your job or whether it starts going well for you, you quit your job, you start going onto this, you start making 5, 10K per month, you start building your own brands and you start selling them and you become potentially make hundreds of thousands or millions. Okay, obviously it's not guaranteed for everybody. You've got to put the work in, and private label is the hardest one. So as you go up here, so arbitrage, wholesale, bundles, private label, competition gets less here, less competition. So there's nobody on the listings at these points. You're not really competing with anyone. But then it becomes harder, more money, more money needed. Okay, higher barrier to entry, higher barrier. Okay, and that's typically how things go in business. If you could do the highest barrier to entry things, you're going to get the best results and make the most amount of money. But you got to start somewhere. You can't just start at the top unless you're working with like £500,000 to begin with. Okay, so I hope this video has been useful and it's been a little bit insightful, and hopefully it gives you a bit of a better understanding of where you currently are and where you need to be. Even if you're doing wholesale and if you're pretty experienced with wholesale, you need to be aware that there is bundles and exclusivity. And you probably know about private label, but a lot of people that I speak to that do wholesale, that in the early days, they don't have a clue about bundles and exclusivity, so they need to be made aware of it. And there's a few little sections on the courses and things like that, just to have for you to have a little overview. And if you're an academy member watching this, you're obviously going to have full access to the full range of the exclusive brand deals course and the bundles course and things like that. So I mean, watch that and I hope you enjoy it honestly because it's fantastic stuff in there. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. And if you need anything, drop it in the community.